Just updating chat because there's that stream delay, so hopefully everyone knows. And 1-1. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ting Open. Of course, we could have sat here for another 20 minutes just sitting behind a wait screen, but action is always best and downtime is always worst. Let's talk about what's going on before we do these intros, though. This is game number 3. Winner of this game will move on to fight a best of 3 versus Healer. Winner of that will move on to fight a best of 3 versus Keen, and winner of that will move on to fight a best of 3 versus Snoot. So we still have a little bit of casting ahead of us. So if you guys want to take a break, I would suggest doing it soon and coming back later for the grand finale. But this is the losers bracket, and we're trying to figure out which player will take that last spot. Spawning here on the upper right side of Ruins of Saris, we've got the green Zerg player, Tefel.
In the bottom left, as the red Protoss, he's NaNiwa.
Okay, so NaNiwa didn't exactly look bad when we saw him earlier versus Snoot. Like, his PvZ doesn't look like that's the issue. Snoot really did actually just take advantage of a lot of openings he left in his defenses. I'm not sure how the series has gone versus Tefel, but I do like that he's up 1 point, at least, and that's not too one-sided of a series.
Doesn't look like it, but I did catch NaNiwa's the end of that last game on NaNiwa's stream because I was checking to see, you know, if he was out of game or not. And
was that a win or a loss?
I'm not sure, because honestly, he started talking about how he felt like versus Zerg it was very difficult, and I'm not sure if that was like, oh, it was so hard to win that game, or oh, it was so hard, how could I not lose that game? So I have no idea.
Oh, I thought you meant like you tuned in like at the end of the game and you saw it ending type thing.
No, like out of game. But anyways, just that a lot of Protosses can have some frustrations with Zerg because the all-ins that Zergs have are very good. Late game Protoss isn't so bad, but that is where NaNiwa was falling against Snoot. I'm not sure what he's been having trouble with against Tefel.
Well, it's kind of, you know, we joked a little bit about what Snoot had said after that game, but it came down to her saying, like, you know, 2016 gaming strategy, Ravagers. And to be honest, we've seen that happen all too many times. Like, I don't know what good Protoss opening you do to stop somebody who wants to do a giant Roach Ravager all in. Because it does feel like 9 times out of 10 we watch that, the Protoss player just dies, no matter how well they play it out.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not the case, though. You would just see that happening every single game. But it just feels like every game we do happen to see it happen, though, that's how it goes.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess just holding off on the third longer and longer. But then that, you know, puts you behind in the macro game, so I don't know. But the Phoenix opener, or, well, Oracle and a Phoenix, Stargate in general opener, does cover a lot. So the Phoenixes have become very helpful throughout the entirety of PvZ. Oracle, of course, Revelation is going to help out. And even a Void Ray in the early to mid game pushes can be just that little bit of extra damage to hold on versus just, you know, dying straight up. We have a handful of links going from Tefel, but nothing to be worried about. There's no Evolution Chamber, and in fact, there's not really any Overlords in position to drop yet anyways. They're just coming in now.
Phoenix will also help make sure that doesn't be an issue, of course. But also just kind of going back to NaNiwa, like his walling techniques. We saw it versus Penguin. We saw it sort of attempted versus Snoot. Like, NaNiwa, if nothing else, has SimCity down. Like, nailed it on that front. And if it is going to be, you know, a Phoenix opener, you're not going to have a lot of units on the ground. So being able to control your buildings, SimCity, and keep your opponent out of the base, it's kind of important.
Yeah. There is the Evolution Chamber, so it is going to be drops to some extent. I'll see if what upgrade comes from them as well. Tefel has, 11 lings, but now he's making more. Also recognize it was a Stargate opener. Gets a couple of Spore Crawlers. The Overlord to the right is going to be cleaned up first. I'm not sure how much you want to commit to attacking now that one Overlord's already down. The wall is there, so nothing to be said there.
I like that again. NaNiwa did that cool thing where he transfers through and then puts the pylon down. It's such a small detail, but I like it.
Yep. And Tefel does have to kind of give up on the potential Ling flood here, as his Lings just go into this one Overlord.
NaNiwa, please, no!
This really does suck. The Phoenixes should have been on top of this, but this is dead space as well, so NaNiwa will definitely lose a couple of probes before pulling them.
There's not an attack at the front, so the overcharge and the probe pull, I mean, this won't get too out of hand. This is really annoying, of course, and not something NaNiwa wanted to have to deal with, but as we see, it kills very minimal things and just denies mining for the time being.
Oh, NaNiwa, go clean up the Overlord. Okay, now he's going to. But this has gotten more lings in.
Yeah.
And this is going to be just even more annoying to deal with. This is just keeping NaNiwa, maybe messing up his build a little bit. They're keeping the Phoenixes back too, so nothing is happening on Tefel's side of the map except droning, and well, now making a couple of roaches just in case the Adepts do run across the map. Now it's, diagonal spawns on ruins, so it's gonna take a while for even Adepts to make it across, but it's something that you have to be prepared for. You just killed a couple of probes. You don't want to lose a couple of drones in return.
So just an update to our sub question from earlier. I had to go ask somebody else for this. We are currently at 830 subscribers as of the last couple coming in. The channel record was 836 subscribers.
Ooh.
So I know we've probably lost a couple of subscribers because of what's happened recently, and that's fine. But I'm still hoping high that we could beat that number. That'd be so cool.
Yes, it would. Well, the roaches beat back this push. This is not really too worrying.
No,
Hydras on the way.
The concern though is right. Like before the Hydras come out, these Adepts could actually do some pretty good damage. Even just killing the Queens wouldn't be too bad. Same with Overlords, obviously annoying. But they're gonna try and transfer past. He's gonna see the roaches and have to cancel. But in doing this and in feigning aggression, this does let him get a third up behind this, and that's fairly important. I'm actually surprised we don't see NaNiwa going towards blink builds that we've seen very consistently and constantly on ruins. Instead, deliberately going for double robo is not a bad choice. Don't get me wrong, but it feels like blink all-ins on this map are almost a free win. At least the times we've seen them executed on stream.
Yeah, and it's not like the spawns really entirely deter it, but they might have been a consideration for not going for it. Not sure. But this is a rather large roach attack, and the Immortals are not ready. He only just finished the double robo. The Nexus is well protected by 3 pylons. That's nice, but the Mothership only has so much energy.
Yeah.
Very careful, both of them being very careful. Tefel waiting for his reinforcements, waiting for his upgrades as well. +1 roach speed, and Hydra speed and range. I am not really... This is going to be a tough hold for NaNiwa. This is just a straight up, roach Hydra attack, but it's still very powerful.
Clicked on the Zonaga by mistake. Sorry about that, guys. I was rubbing my eyes. The funny thing is, like, the Immortals will deal with these roaches very easily. The Foot on Overcharge, obviously, going to be the start of the defense, but if you can get a couple of force fields in, there's no Ravagers to break them. He would hold all these units in place, and the Immortals will just hammer away at the roaches. A couple Hydras in the back end, but not that scary. Even the Phoenix could help deal with this. Just crowd control them, lift them in the sky. There we go. Shoot them down.
Nice.
Shoot them down. And NaNiwa deflects this really well.
Of course, the 2 Immortals actually being out in time really helped as well. There wasn't a whole lot of Hydras there either, so they weren't adding a ton of damage. They're starting to pick off Phoenixes. Here they come now.
Yeah, I don't know about NaNiwa pushing out. He may be thinking he's a little bit further ahead than he really is. That speed can be hard to deal with. He can put some force fields down. Hopefully will keep everything alive.
Saving it for the last second. There we go. 3rd Immortal joins too, so of course the roaches get obliterated. Tefel just still rallying across the map though. It's been a while since we've seen just a straight up roach Hydra attack, but he's holding off on the 4th, and the more that NaNiwa is holding, like the better the late game's actually looking for him.
Well, the Lurkers at some point are going to be cool to see, but the Immortals I feel are already numerous enough that the Lurkers won't be an issue even if they do come into play. Looking to push forward though. Oh, new sub comes in. That's Stimpack, the Proud Dalum. Thank you so much for that sub. Or the Proud Udalum. UD Alum? Oh gosh.
UD alumni, maybe.
Ah, that would actually make sense. The Proud UD alum.
Yep. Nailed it. Go me.
Took us like 7 tries. No big deal. Ain't nothing.
Took you 7 tries.
Shut up. Yo, it's only because I shout them out more that I fail more, okay? Like, you've got the same fail rate, I feel like. That's a percentage that I do.
I can agree with that, definitely.
So that's by 831 now. Ooh, thank you very much. All right, so as the Immortals continue to produce, they will contest with Hydras and Roaches, and a really nice big part of this is that barrier ability can soak a lot of damage. Normally, Hydras in the past could tear through these thanks to this fast attack speed. Not necessarily the case anymore. Oh, apparently it's that guy's first sub to any channel. So make sure you abuse all the emoticons you've just unlocked by subbing to the channel, friend. The Immortals are going to take this fight concave in the favor of Tefel, but weirdly enough, this tree and a couple of force fields make it a little bit difficult to fully concave in on this. So as the roaches start falling, as we see the Hydras quickly go down next, they don't have a lot of unit health for the units that they are. Glass cannons somewhat. The Immortals tear through them.
This is like such like The mass immortals, not so much, but the Roach Hydra attack feels very hard to the Storm, especially from someone like Tefel, who I recall did a lot of the same strategy. You know, held off on the fourth base, didn't drone the fourth base, just went kind of all in with this strategy. And to see it pushed back, I guess, is just to give me some nostalgia. Now it's pushed back into Lurkers, which, you know, they do add a little something to the entire army, but the immortal count adds more. Like, this immortal count can really bust through the Lurkers. It's just the kind of scary Hydra count. But now that Charge is done, now that Storm is on the way, the Hydra's not going to be nearly as scary.
Well, one of the things I'm perhaps a little concerned about for NaNiwa as we look is he's only got the one observer. His detection is not the greatest, and dealing with lurkers sounds simple right now, but I mean this one observer that came out just came out type thing.
Yeah. He's getting a lot more. He recognized the same problem, I guess, as well as a Warp Prism to try and take advantage of the fact that Tefel has been rallying this entire time. He's not really left anything at home. Okay, maybe not attacking in the air. Okay, yeah. Backs off. You know, wait for Storm, wait for the +2. A couple Archons gonna, you know, definitely soak a lot of hits as well. Can't lose his third. The gas guys are going down. Does surprisingly suck with the Templars being worked in.
I mean, well, fourth base was established behind us, so this is like he could get more gases up behind it. Obviously, not right now. The focus is on these front lines and holding against this lurker push. But catching a couple lurkers out of the ground, shots get fired. Zealots charge. Observers coming to that front line. Storm's going down on top of everything, and Storm's going to say, "No, thank you, Hydra. Stay back." The Immortals are going to clean up the lurkers, and Tefel's losing everything once again. But every time he's able to bounce back off of this because of his economy. This time around, he doesn't have the better economy. NaNiwa is on a fourth base finally.
Yeah, I mean, Tefel only really transferred drones to his fourth base recently, so NaNiwa now with the better army, even if it wasn't in the army supply, I would still call it the better army, especially as Tefel has to wait to morph in Lurkers and maybe Ravagers. 3 more on the way back at home, but NaNiwa is pushing forward, saved all of his observers too, so it can go back and just pure immortal production.
It is a little scary to push like this because these are pretty tarnished units. We got a new sub, by the way, again. Hazabui! Hazabui! Thank you very much.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! That's 832. That's 832.
So close.
Yeah, we're getting there. The attack, of course, on the base is starting to commence, and I mean, this, yeah, I really don't know about pushing like this. I think he thought there'd be a lot less waiting for him back at home and hoping that Tefel had maybe over-droned or teched too much. He even tries to go for a warp in over here, but realizing how fruitless that would be, decides to back away.
It's still a very scary army for NaNiwa, that one that he could play a little offensively with, like just kind of contain, but that would be really scary if he was looking away for 1 second, something Lurkers can go on top of your army. He once again does not have a Mothership Core for that recall, which, you know, that did lose him a game versus Snoot, saying he would have won the game anyways, but it was definitely the reason he lost an entire army.
Oh, who was
he doesn't completely withdraw.
Was it Goblin? No, it was Realmer, I think, was doing all that recall shenanigans yesterday. That was actually kind of cool to watch, because we talked about that versus this game. Now, the Mothership Core was dead, I guess, so it never got rebuilt. But I was going to say, the option of recall is really nice for, especially the style in which NaNiwa was playing. I would love to see him do that push out, get aggressive, maybe kill a lurker or two, and then just recall immediately before losing anything consequential.
Yeah. I think just it's so many more Protosses than Realmer are going for the Mothership just back at home, you know, just in case a Ling Flood comes in, or Mutalisk maybe to a certain degree too, because they can help out initially.
Actually, that's a good choice out of Tefel, because this has been 2 gigantic ground wars he has lost, and he cannot win. At some point, he's going to realize, like, oh yeah, if I go for air units, maybe I'll just catch him with a tech swap, but not for NaNiwa. He's moving towards what is potentially Tempests, but in doing so, we'll have the Stargate production to make those Phoenix, and hell, get any Impulse Crystals if you'd like on top of it.
Yeah, that's what happens when it's this late into the Spire. So it's either a Spire if you mute is too late and they already have the Stargates, or it's for Broodlords and they already have the Stargates. Point is, NaNiwa, 4 bases going on to a 5th, is not breaking a sweat at having to advance his tech, and would have done so regardless of Tefel's plan.
Ooh,
that is a huge warp in, and only some of them are going to finish.
No, a significant amount of them finish. I don't know how either.
Actually,
but the Hydra's trying to deny that was a good move. However, a big attack coming on the left side, and Ben Lights hits us with that 833 as the engagement begins. Getting closer and closer. Everything choked up, though, does make this a lot better for NaNiwa to hit those storms. He doesn't even have to fully engage. He can just hit that Nexus and walk the hell away. Does hit that Nexus, starts walking away, and these lurkers are no help whatsoever. Meanwhile, in the main, the Zealots were left somewhat unattended. They could have focused on the Hive. In fact, I really wish you would have, just thinking on it. More Zealot walk-bys, I guess, coming here for another base. But Tefel now is on almost little to no mining.
Yeah, I mean, he was mined out so like
Oh.
he was on those 3 bases for so long. It's
Oh.
no surprise that they're pretty mined out. Yeah, I noticed that base too. A little odd, hoping to get it maybe a little bit secrets, but Tefel's just not going to be able to get drones over there. His
His
lurkers are left alone, but there are a lot of lurkers.
I mean, the thing about lurkers that we've seen in every PvP is usually you trade them out, they'll do a ton of damage before dying. That's not exactly the case of what's going to happen with these ones, and you can't afford to replace them like you normally would. But big shots get fired, and he's just going to push in. NaNiwa, big ball swinging, comes in, knocks this base down. And he's going to recall.
Oh, and the recall.
Oh, but he leaves his observers at home, or across the map. I guess this is canon, so and there's no lurkers.
Yeah,
so.
There's no lurkers. He just killed all the lurkers. Doesn't even matter.
A little bit of a heart attack moment there, but the GG. NaNiwa looking good, and PvZ is going to take the 2-1 over Tefel, and now move to fight against a player named Healer, who has impressed us with stranger gameplay tactics recently.
Have we seen him versus Protoss?